Can you tell me about some of the research you did for The Darkest Hour at IWM?
I spent quite a lot of time looking at some of the film archive footage. I asked them to pull me out anything that was, May or April, May, June 1940, and the team there had an amazing amount of stuff. Also, it was all on celluloid, so I got to sit at an old-fashioned Steenbeck and watch it on film. You know what was really interesting? Actually, some of the footage is used in the film. Some of the footage that I found there was used in the film. What was really interesting was the difference for me between the German footage, the British footage, and the French footage. The German footage was all these kind of exciting angles, and that's the stuff we use at the beginning of the movie. The French footage was all very poetic and kind of, lily ponds and so on. And then the English footage was just like very observational of a street with a man crossing the street and nothing happens. So that was interesting as a filmmaker.
Mm. And why did you zoom in on this particular part of Churchill's life?
Because we were interested in the fact that three of the greatest speeches in political history were written in this very short 4-week window, and what that meant, why he wrote those, and so that was the kind of original framework for the movie.
And then that led you to the setting of the Churchill war rooms, the cabinet war rooms. Did that add something particular to the film?
Yeah, I mean, when you're making a film, often it's the limitations that are imposed upon you that reveal the most, or that give you kind of creative opportunities. And one of the limitations I had was that the film, as you know, is set in May 1940, which was one of the hottest Mays on record, and yet we were shooting in December, January and February, so we had a problem there. We couldn't go outside much. When I went to the war rooms and spent some time down there, I had this kind of amazing feeling of the pressure of the situation. And although Winston didn't spend as much time down there as the film suggests, it seemed like it was kind of metaphoric of the pressure and the claustrophobia that he must have felt at that time.
Mm. And in making the film, did you uncover anything about Churchill that sort of surprised you and you'd want people to learn more about?
His humour, his humanity. He's someone who made a lot of mistakes in his life. His position on women's suffrage at the beginning of the 20th century, his position on Indian independence, the Gallipoli campaign. But at this specific moment in history, this pivotal moment in history, he called it. He made the right choice, and he did so with a sense of humanity.